What is up, everybody? It is your boy Robbie Daga, and in today's episode of Mobius Final Fantasy, we're going to talk all about the starter pack. So, this should be able to answer your question whether you're a brand new player just starting the game, or if you've been playing for any length of time. So, let's first start by just answering the easiest question, and the most common question: should you pull on this banner? I would say if you are missing any of these jobs, whether you are a brand new player, just started this game, or if you've been playing this game for a while, I would definitely tell you yes. Honestly, these jobs are worth it. They're decent jobs, and not only that, but for the price of Magicite that you're paying for these jobs specifically, it's definitely worth pulling them for the price. So what I mean by that is it could take you up to 8 GAS pulls to pull a job, and it could be one of these jobs. There's a chance it could be one of these jobs for sure, and that would cost you 24,000 Magicite, so 24k Magicite for one of these jobs, where right now and for the next couple of days, for you guys who have been playing for a while, right now you can get all these for 1500 Magicite, just a pop. So if you're missing any amount of these, let's say you're missing like 3 of these, you could do 2 summons. It's up to 5, so you could do 2 summons and get pretty much a gross star each, and then your next 3 summons would be the jobs you're missing. So hopefully that makes sense, but it would take you all 5 pulls. It would take you 5 pulls to clear this banner. So the reason why this banner is so worth it is these pulls are only costing you 1500 Magicite each. So 1500 Magicite, times 5, we're only talking about 7500 Magicite that this is going to cost you to completely get all these jobs and get, also some pretty sweet cards. Now, the cards aren't super great. They're not brand spanking new, so they're not like the new meta cards or anything, but they're still decent cards and could get you through some decent content once you figured that out. Also, some of these cards, some of these jobs, pretty much everything except for Crimson Archer is going to give you what you need to make like a multiplayer healing deck, and it's just like the trifecta cards that I would recommend a new player buy as their first cards anyway. So that's why the starter pack's so worth it. I won't talk about all the cards in the batches, but I will just mention them. But basically all the life support cards in these packs are freaking worth it for sure if you don't already have them. But the Sword Saint, let's just talk about the jobs really quick. Sword Saint's a good job. It's probably the weakest here as far as new player friendly goes, I guess you could say, just because it doesn't have any break power, and you're gonna suffer not having break power in single player. A lot of the hardest enemies need to be broken, so I really think he's probably the weakest job here, but he's still very good. He's got 2 okay weapons. Honestly, I would not boost them, but they are pretty good just like unboosted. I would probably not boost the weapon though. But yeah, good job. Moving on to Crimson Archer, I actually think this Sarah job is probably the easiest to use job in this batch. It has high break power, high attack power. You can do it all with her. She's not super old in the meta either, so I definitely think she's a strong job here. Also, I mean, you're not going to get a good support card when you pull her, unfortunately, but you will get good cards like Phantom Train, which is an AoE 4-hit overkill card. It'll help you pretty much decimate some stuff, and she has some I believe it's fire and earth enhanced, so you're gonna have a lot of fun with her with these cards specifically. So I do think she is a really good job to have. Her weapon is it's just like the Sword Saints to me, honestly. It's got like Haste Starter on it as the 3rd ability, which I really wouldn't recommend. You're gonna have Haste Starter with other stuff, and it's gonna be easy for you. So I would skip that weapon, honestly. I wouldn't boost it. The Sage, however, does have a weapon that I would consider boosting on there. It's got one of the best mage breaking weapons that I've seen in the game. I mean, I know, unfortunately, there's not many mage breakers. Actually, there's none. But, you know, for single player, you have to play all the roles. So, I do think it's a good weapon to have. You will also get Life Shift, the Gaia card, which does Life Shift plus Regen. When you pull this job is pretty low-key underrated, honestly. Sage is an underrated job, and he's just going to get a lot better when his Hall of Fame comes out. So at the time of recording this video, there isn't Hall of Fame for any of these jobs, but when their Hall of Fames come out, these jobs are going to be mean. Honestly, they're going to be great again. Alright, moving on, let's talk about the Super Monk. So Super Monk's another awesome job with another pretty awesome weapon. Not really much to say about him. He's also not really that new player friendly because you kind of need cards with a special ability called Taijutsu, or else the cards, the abilities just don't do as much damage as, you know, they could. Unfortunately, it's just kind of the reality for monks right now. I mean, you could do fine with a monk, honestly, but it's just, you're not going to see that much damage. And they're kind of very different. They work a little bit differently with their stats. Like, you want attack power to do damage with a monk, unless you need a card that wants magic. So it's kind of hard to explain, but monks can be good, and Super Monk's awesome, honestly. Super Monk has a really good ult and everything. He's got great elements if you do manage to pull, you know, a Supreme card, which you probably will pretty soon with these new Supreme rates. Or there are the fake Supremes that are perfectly free to play farmable. So Super Monk, honestly, super good job. Pretty dang good weapon. Last job we're going to talk about here is the Vesna Krana. This is going to be your main job. Vesna Krana is awesome. It's honestly, it's like, she has warrior lore, so you can honestly, I think she's she's probably, I guess she's my favorite out of all these because she has warrior lore on her. I mean, monks, the Super Monk has ranger lore, keep that in mind, but I mean, we just talked about how monks are kind of weak with the regular magical damage and not having taijutsu. The Vesna Krana, on the other hand, is a beast as far as magical damage. She can do some pretty good damage, and then she's got that warrior lore, making it just easier for new players, or just players with, you know, not a great card catalog yet. Being able to use two roles, two different kinds of jobs cards is pretty great. She also comes with a support card, Knights of the Round, which you're definitely going to want for all kinds of single player use. Super Monk comes with Undying, which you'll also want. Those two go together. Oh, they go together like peanut butter and jelly, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. But they do, they go together really well. They're really good cards to have. And the other thing about Vesna, she also kind of has a little low break power, but she has break power. She's not like the Sword Saint where he's just kind of lacking break power completely. She's a little more balanced, but she can do some pretty nice damage, and she's a lot of fun to use. So hopefully that answers all your questions about the starter pack, changing all that stuff. So basically, just to sum it up, if you're missing any of these jobs, it's definitely worth it to pull them here. They're pretty good jobs for a new player. If you're an old B player, so this is always the hardest questions to answer if you're an old B player who's missing a couple of these, especially, say, if there's a couple of really good banners. For example, there's an anniversary banner going on right now. Should you pull on this, you know, as it pertains to that? And again, it's hard for me to tell you not to. If your resources are extremely limited, you're looking like me right now, where I've only got like 3,000 magicite, that's the only time I would maybe consider that you don't pull on this, and you save your resources for, say, like the anniversary, or maybe like a limited banner. Yeah, I would still say to your best first cards that are limited event cards are still going to be things like Bismarck, the shift cards that come with the, the shift cards. The best ones out now are the Shift Plus ones, which comes with the Final Fantasy 11 banner. And there's some really great Final Fantasy 7 cards. The Final Fantasy 15 cards, some of them are still pretty awesome. I mean, you're definitely going to want those cards for sure. And then right now, for example, the third anniversary cards are coming out right now, so you're probably going to want that stuff for sure. So spread your resources out accordingly. Hopefully you've done better than me, and you've been a little bit less busy than I have, and you've been able to farm a little bit. This is me with as much farming as I can, so I'm doing my best, you guys. I'm doing my best, but we'll get there. So hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. I did my best to not make it too long and boring, but there was a lot to talk about too. So if you liked it, if it helped you out, please consider subscribing. Let's make this the best Mobius Final Fantasy YouTube channel we can, you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. I love you guys. Take it easy. If you have any more questions or anything to add, go ahead and throw it down below in the comments. I love reading your comments. I'm getting to that point where I can't reply to all of them, but if you guys have questions, I'm going to do my best to absolutely reply to you. So thank you so much for being here. I wish you the absolute best of luck. I'll see you very soon, and I'll catch you later.